Hello everyone, this is Chelsea from Those With Words. Welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about my low spend plans for the year 2025. I tried something similar for 2024 and had a couple of realizations. I will link my low spend progress videos that I posted last year in the description box below in case you're interested. And I just wanted to use some of those reflections to hopefully make a better plan for this year. So let's go ahead and get started. This is going to be a chatty one, so I have some visual elements here for your interest. Please feel free to grab your favorite drink and get settled. I will say the one important realization from 2024's low spend, which I have discussed before in my previous videos, is that I am not a strict no spend person. So for example, if I force myself not to spend anything on stationery for a while, then inevitably some item or event comes along eventually and I end up feeling spendy for longer than I'd like afterwards. So a really good example was the San Francisco Pen Show from 2024. I was pretty good about not spending too much money on stationery up until this point. And then once I crossed the threshold into SF Pen Show and I bought some stationery there, it was like afterwards some kind of floodgates had opened and I just felt really spendy. I was like, oh, this is cute, that's cute, and everything looked cute afterwards for a while. I would also like to be more prepared for unanticipated events. So something like the San Francisco Pen Show is expected, and I already know the dates for that for 2025, but I'm talking about things like friends destashing items I'm interested in. So I bought a couple of notebooks from a friend who was destashing her Tomoe River paper stash last year. And another example is like a really great sale that I didn't see coming. So I shopped the Superior Labor sample sale, which I also posted about. So this pouch, for example, is something that I got during the sample sale, and I really love it now. It's my watercolor kit right now, and it's something that I didn't foresee spending money on until the sample sale actually happened, which I only found out about maybe a couple of days before it actually took place. So those are some lessons that I learned from 2024. I do have my plotter, my personal planner out here because I do have a page dedicated to 2025 spending. So there it is. So some things that I'm already anticipating is, like I said earlier, the SF Pen Show and then Techo Kaigi 2026 in general. The general idea for 2025 low spend is that I would like to have a budget of about $100 per month, and I'm going to use a rollover approach. So if I don't use any of it during the month of January, then the $100 will roll over into the next month. So in February, technically I will have a budget of $200 for the whole year. And if I end up, let's say, spending $200 in January instead because some amazing item came along and I really, really wanted to buy it, then I would like to hold back until March when the overall balance would return to zero. So hopefully that makes sense. January $100, February $100, I already spent it in advance in January. So in March, it would be back to zero. At first, I will say that $100 a month sounded like a lot to me, but it seems more realistic with my spending when thinking about my wish list for the year, which I do have right here. The first thing I have on the list is a Pilot capless or vanishing point in a colorway or design that I love. So if I, let's say, end up purchasing something that is special or limited edition kind of colorway, that is not a standard lineup of the Pilot Vanishing Point line, then those can actually run up to a few $100s per pen. And that would cover about 3 to 4 months budget already if I'm thinking about $100 per month. So if I think about it that way, even if it just covers, let's say it's $300 and It covers 3 months worth of the budget. That's already a whole quarter out of the whole year. So I think that's a pretty realistic lookout of how I would probably spend my money, at least when it comes to this particular pen. And then another thing that's close to the top of my wish list, and I have no idea if this is going to happen or not because I cannot predict the future, but it is a limited edition traveler's notebook in a theme or color, preferably camel regular size, that I love. So I'm thinking about something like, this is just me manifesting at this point, but like a bakery bread themed regular size camel traveler's notebook. I don't know, I'm just putting it out there. That's something I would personally really, really love and probably jump on right away. And knowing how much Traveler's Company limited edition covers and other things cost, whenever they come out with a limited edition, they also tend to have like a sticker set or like a refill or another accessory of some kind. So generally speaking, I think it's realistic to say that it would add up to about $100 if I'm adding up the cost of a cover, a sticker set, etc. So that will be about a month's budget. So I think that's also why I'm thinking about $100 per month in a way that's kind of realistic, at least for me. I do have some other items out here I said for visual interest, but also thinking about what $100 might look like. I have a full washi tape roll right here that's already kiss cut. I have some PET tape rolls here. Some of these will run you $15 to $20 per full roll. So these are all like from artists and such, and they're really, really nice and I love using them. But I do have to admit that each of these rolls can cost you quite a bit. Same thing with these kinds of stamps, these wooden stamps that I really like to use. These are also some of my favorites from my own collection. And one of these usually costs anywhere between like $10 to $15 USD. And depending on where you purchase from, you might not always be buying it from a store in the US, but because I am located in the United States, more realistically than not, I am shopping from smaller businesses in the US whenever it is that I am purchasing these kinds of products. So if you think about it that way, $100 is just a couple of stamps and a couple of full rolls of washi tape, if anything, or PT tape. So when you receive your order and you open it up, it's actually pretty small in volume and it's not that many choices. So that's also something that I thought about when I established this particular budget per month. Also, knowing that a pen and a potential traveler's notebook are at the top of my list is really helpful. I may make an exception on the holding back rule that I talked about, which is ideally I would not like to spend, so much money in the first quarter, for example. But at the same time, if something I truly love on this wish list comes along in January and February, back-to-back months, for instance, then I would like to recognize that and spend the money and try to hold out longer, maybe even all the way until August when the pen show is happening. So that way my budget can reset to zero and then replenish through August. For Techo Kaigi 2026 specifically, I will try my best to be thoughtful about buying new systems. I think I was pretty good about it this year. I purchased the 5-year Hobonichi gift set and the Nanami Paper Cafe Note B6 Slim, which I already had in my collection, but I bought a few backups of those because it's from old Tomoe River paper stash. And then for my plotter, I already have pretty much all the different types of papers, so I just purchased the monthly and weekly inserts for plotter. So my 2025 Techo Kaigi spending was actually not as much as I thought it would be. And for 2026, ideally, I would continue with the Hobonichi 5-year, continue with the plotter, so I would just buy the monthly and weekly inserts for that. If I do explore other systems, which I have found some really intriguing examples of systems that I haven't tried before, and I will try to put some pictures and text up here for you to take a look at them. A lot of them are from Korean brands that I have never used planners from before, but I do have an increasing interest in Korean stationery, so that's something that I may explore in 2025. But yeah, in terms of Techo kaigi specifically, I am thinking about, the fact that it will definitely take out some money from my wallet, but it'll also depend on how this year goes, for example, and how just like my life changes in general and how much I feel like I need to adapt my notebooks to that. All in all, I think this monthly budget and rollover approach will be helpful in that it will still limit me in terms of indulging too much in like various sales or, even at the San Francisco Pen Show. But it does leave some room for me to still enjoy this hobby and buy some items that I think feel really right for me that I really love throughout the year. Another thing that I can consider is that if I do manage a meaningful Destash, then the money made from this Destash can count towards the total. Take it with a grain of salt because I don't really have high hopes for a successful Destash. I've been thinking about it, I've been talking about it for so long, but I often get really overwhelmed with the organization and the logistics aspect of a Destash that I usually just like never even get started. I have a whole bulk of items that I've set aside that I don't really want to use anymore, various stamps, stickers, etc. And I haven't figured out a way to start a whole Destash process. I don't know why. It just seems very daunting. Shipping, figuring out how much to charge for each item. Shipping, again, thinking about, is it going to be a flat rate? That will probably be easier for everyone, but how much is it going to be? And then actually shipping out the items, which I can just keep it really simple. I know that, but I know that in this community, a lot of people are so talented with sending beautifully wrapped gifts and happy mail. And I will be the first person to admit that I am not good at that. I am not a pretty, like, happy mail creating kind of person. I try my best and I put things together for my friends. But I'm definitely not like a beautiful wax seal, creator type of person when it comes to happy mail. So sometimes I get a little stressed thinking about what if I do a Destash and it just looks very simple. I don't know. It's a silly worry, I know, but something that I have thought about before. Maybe I can donate or give away some things at least and start there and maybe only charge for shipping costs. I don't know. It's just something that I'm thinking about. Obviously, doing it that way, it won't add anything to my monthly budget and rollover approach, but at least it'll help me downsize my stationery collection and dust off some things that I've already set aside that I know I don't want to use. So yeah, that is my approach, and I just have a quick little incoming one right here, so hopefully I can keep track of my orders and things that I'm actually spending money on. And at the back of the 2025 spending and wish list, I do have a tracker so I can keep myself honest about the monthly budget and rollover approach that I just talked about. Hopefully that was interesting for you to hear. That is my plan for now for this year's low spend. I will hopefully have a couple of videos throughout the year to reflect on my progress and just be really honest about how much money I've spent, honestly, and how I feel about my low spend in general. I think making these videos has been really helpful for me because it does keep me more accountable than before when I didn't really talk about these things with the public so much. So thank you so much for being my official accountability buddies, and I hope it was, again, a little bit insightful at least to hear about my thought process and how I'm approaching low spend in 2025. Let me know if you are doing a low spend or if you are super brave unlike me and doing a no spend, for example? I would love to know. Please let me know in the comments below. And I will hopefully see you again in the next video. Until then, take care. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.